Good morning. What are you? Oh, there's a deer there.
Oh, there is?
They're looking at a deer.
Where?
There's a deer back there by the pond.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
They were watching it. You can hold this?
Yeah, it's like I split bigger.
Hey, you're already climbing on me? You're already climbing on me? It's so early for that.
You climb on me. I got dirty pants on.
All our pants are dirty pants now.
That's true.
Wow, can you see the tail wagging?
Yeah, I can.
It's big. Oh, it's really big.
It is.
Wow, that one's huge. Seems smaller, I feel. Oh, there he goes. Get out of here! Get out of here!
Wow, look at that.
Wow. Wow. Wasn't expecting to see that.
It really reminds me of Junie when she gets in trouble.
Yeah. Good job, guys. You saw it. You saw it. They brought our attention to it right away.
They did.
Hi, already with this, huh? Now I have poo on my pants.
Reach out for my sunnies, please. Good morning, babies. Oh my gosh, look at
It's mostly just wet right now,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Oh,
She loves
Watch
to
where you-
climb.
oh, what's hooves?
Okay, your coffee is...
Yeah, thank you. That's why I'm.
You cannot hold coffee with her.
No. Hey, baby.
She demands to be held. Oh, okay. Here we go. Hello.
Let me get the coffee. Don't spill on yourself.
Hello, you. Hello, you. You're such a sweet girl, aren't you? You're such a sweet girl. You guys still have a lot of food. Yeah, I'll give you a little more. I'll just give them a little bit. They're still eating that.
There's a couple beetles in there.
Hi, chickens. We didn't forget about you. We still love you guys. Maybe she's laying.
She jumped up and bit my finger. There's no food. It's just a finger.
Oh, look at that. The deer started coming back. Oh, Aaron scared it. You're always trying to eat my fingers. Hi, buddy. Hi everyone, what's up and good morning. Today I'm going to be starting some seeds for the fall garden. I've already started some earlier, but this is kind of like my second-ish round of seeds. And I can't believe it's already this time of year. I feel like the summer garden has just started producing and we've just started harvesting a lot of things, but it's already time to start thinking about starting the fall garden. And I want to make sure I get to it before it's too late. So I have a tray here and I already have like a tray and a half inside of seedlings that I've started in the last few weeks, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you how those are doing and show you what other things I've started. So today is July 17th and I believe our first frost date is like October 17th, so it's 3 months away, about 90 days. And a lot of the stuff I'm starting today probably takes around like 45 to 55 days to maturity. I like to err on the side of giving them a little bit more time just because as the days get shorter, those days to maturity can be kind of like on the longer end. So hopefully by now there will still be plenty of time for these things to grow. And a lot of the stuff that I've started already inside, those are the things that take anywhere from like maybe 60 to 90 days to harvest. So anyway, if you're trying to like figure out when to start your fall seeds, you need to look up your first frost date. It has nothing to do with your zone. You just need to look up that date and then kind of like count backwards and see how many days you have and how long the things that you want to plant take. Let me start with the varieties that I'm going to be starting today. The first one is fennel, and I just got these seeds recently. I showed them in my most recent seed haul. These are from Annie's Heirloom Seeds, and I've never grown fennel before, but it is something that you grow either in the spring or fall. So I'm going to be trying it, and I'll just be doing a few of these to see how they do. The fennel does take 75 to 80 days, so I probably should have started this a few weeks ago. I kind of just forgot that I had this on my to plant list for the fall. So I'm going to do it now. Hopefully it has enough time. I imagine also the caterpillars that the butterflies lay in the late summer and fall will really like using the fennel as a food source, so it's also a great thing to plant this time of year. If you don't like fennel, or if you don't want to plant that, you can always plant dill or carrots for like swallowtail caterpillars. They really love those. Next, I'm going to be planting some tot soy, which does really well into the fall. And actually a lot of these things will do really well going into cold weather. They won't really grow that much after the cold though, so I wouldn't count on them like getting much bigger after it starts to get cold. I like to have them pretty much at like 90% full size by the time we're getting freezing weather pretty consistently. But these things at least won't die, they'll still survive, so most of the time they can stay out in the garden for us maybe like a month or two after our first frost day, and then we can harvest them kind of slowly as we need to throughout the fall. The next thing is bok choy, and I'm going to be starting a lot of this. I'm also going to be starting some Russian red kale. I actually don't think I'm going to have to start any more of the dazzling blue kale that I mentioned, because my plants are actually still doing really well in the garden. They're not getting eaten too badly by the caterpillars, so I think I can hold on to them until fall, so I don't have to start those. And I'm just starting this kale variety just to have a different kind of kale in case we want something different. Next, I have a hybrid Chinese cabbage called Rubicon. I'm still kind of like trying this variety out, so I don't have much to say about it yet. I did grow a couple of plants in the spring, and they did okay. I don't know if I'm like that impressed by it, but we'll try again in the fall, maybe they'll do better. And then I also have some lettuce that I'm going to start. This is a romaine type lettuce called Paris Island Cause. And then I also brought out some flowers. I don't know if I have space for it or like how dedicated I am to growing these, but I brought them out just in case I have like extra space in my tray that I want to fill. So the first one is a pastel mix of alyssum, which is a really pretty like low growing flower. I really like to use it almost like as a filler in my beds. They just have these like really tiny flowers and they kind of create like a blanket, and this pastel mix is really pretty. And the other one are these jade branching sunflowers. This is like a white sunflower, I believe, with a white center or like a light color center. I think that's how they look. I'm not sure if I'm gonna start these or not. Anytime I start sunflowers, the deer eat them. Get out of here! But I am wondering if I start just a few plants and put them somewhere a little more protected, maybe they'll be nice. So I'm not sure about that one. We'll just see how my trays go as I start filling them. So I have my tray here with just like a random assortment of seed starting cells. I have to be honest, when it comes to like starting seeds for the fall garden, I'm so lazy about washing my trays. I think in the spring, it's easier to like get myself to properly like soap up all of my trays and like scrub them out, because that's like your only gardening task really in like the early spring or like even late winter. But when it gets to this time of year, I'm a little bit more tired. There's more going on in the garden, and I just give everything like a good hose out and hope that everything goes okay. If there are any like disease or fungal issues and some of my plants die, I'm kind of okay with it, because at this point I've seen so much stuff die in the garden already that if a few more plants die, that's fine. Anyway, that's just how I do it, kind of like taking my chances. But if you really want to make sure your plants do well, you should probably wash out your seed starting trays with soap. That's just not how I'm gonna do it today. And yeah, I just like kind of get an assortment of things, because at this point of the year, the greenhouse is also a mess, and like finding anything in there is really a task. So I just find whatever seed cells that I think will work, and yeah, we're just gonna fill it in with seeds. So I feel like we've been pretty busy around the homestead lately. Obviously, you know, it's summertime and we're harvesting stuff, and we're starting to preserve some things for the fall and winter. Although honestly, I feel like I have not been preserving too much so far. Like I feel like I've frozen a good number of things. Like I've done a few bags of shredded zucchini. I did some of our edamame that we picked the other day. And we've also been going to like local farms and picking stuff and preserving. So a few days ago we went to a local farm to get sweet corn, and I froze up some of that. We also are so lucky to have this amazing blueberry farm like 15 minutes away from us. So we went the other morning and we picked like 6 pounds of blueberries, and I actually want to go back this week and pick a few more pounds of blueberries because I love frozen blueberries so much. They are, first of all, like really easy to process because all you have to do is wash them and stick them into the freezer. But they're also just like so easy to use in things like blueberry pancakes and muffins. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of like visiting local farms, which is one of my favorite things to do in the summer, and trying to preserve some of that excess like little by little. But we haven't really like gotten into real preservation season yet. I feel like once the tomatoes start coming, that's when everything starts. Like I haven't even done a batch of canning this year yet, which seems kind of crazy. I feel like I should have done that by now. But yeah, as most of you know, it's been pretty busy around here preparing for our goats, and now that they're home, we kind of spend all our time playing with them because they're so cute. And you know, they're only going to be little for a few more months, so we have to enjoy that time while they are still small. We've also had a few things to take care of with the chickens. I showed it in a video like a few weeks ago, but we did have one of our Red Star chickens go broody, and we did not want her to be broody. So we put her in like a temporary movable coop, and she stayed in there for about a week, and she has broken her broodiness now. So she's back with the flock, but for that week, you know, it's just like an extra area that we had to go and like maintain and like give water to and give her food separately. So that added to like our farm chores for a little bit. And then we also have one of our chickens, Pretty Girl. She has, it looks like a really minor case of vent gleat, and we noticed it because she had some kind of like pasty looking feathers by her butt, and usually it should just be like really nice and fluffy and clean, but she was just having kind of like poopy areas, and like the feathers were getting a little matted down. So we were having to give her like literal baths. We were bathing our chicken outside in the yard, which we thought was going to be like kind of hard to do, but luckily she is one of our like tamest chickens, and she does not mind being held by us, and she was so sweet the whole time. So it was actually a really nice experience, and she did really well with it. So we've given her a few baths to like kind of soak her dirty feathers and clean her off, and we're still like kind of dealing with that right now. We also put like some Epsom salts in the bath as well to kind of help with that. And some other things we've been doing for her are giving her yogurt to give her like probiotics. And then we have also been putting apple cider vinegar in the chicken's water to acidify it, because I think that can help balance out the pH to help with like the fungal infections. And she's the only chicken that has it, thankfully. But we do think that it was brought on by heat stress, because we did have that one week that was really hot. It was the week we were working on the fencing for the goat shelter, and it was really hot and really humid. And I had read that vent gleat can come on due to heat stress, so I definitely think that that was what happened. So yeah, we're still like kind of monitoring her right now. You know, that's life with animals. You always have to like watch out for them, and once they get sick or something happens, that really takes priority, and we have to make sure that they're doing well. So there's been a lot going on like animal wise around here, which is really nice. It's nice to like take care of them, and honestly like giving Pretty Girl baths was just like the most adorable thing ever. So anyway, that's been life around here lately, and I just filled up these seed starting trays with regular potting soil that I've moistened, so now I can just pop the seeds right in. So yeah, I think in a couple weeks I'm finally going to start doing some batches of canning. It looks like we are about to get like a lot of tomatoes starting to ripen, so once those come in, I'm going to be doing canned tomatoes and salsa, tomato sauce. Those are the main things that I can. And to be honest, I don't actually think I need to do as much canning this year as I've done in the past, because last year I canned so much and we still have a lot of stuff. Things like pickles and zucchini, and I also did like a lot of jam. And really, I feel like the main thing that we use canned food wise is tomatoes in like all its different forms. So that's like the one thing that I actually did use up completely pretty much from last year that I have to restock. So hopefully we get a lot of tomatoes this year and I can restock on those, but I don't actually think I need to can a lot of other stuff, which is really nice that we had enough last year to get us through this year as well. And that's also because a lot of stuff I like to preserve, I actually like to freeze it instead of canning. So as things come in, I just freeze a little bit here and there, and that's easier to do like kind of in smaller batches. So I've definitely been doing that, and we'll keep doing that if we have like excess throughout the weeks whenever we do our harvests. In the next few weeks, I think we're also going to go peach picking at some point. We usually do that every year because peaches are, I think, Aaron's favorite fruit, and freshly picked peaches are just so good. And our peach trees just don't do anything. Every year I have some sort of like bug issue with them, and I even like sprayed them this year and it did not help at all. The peaches all have worms in them. I think it's from like codling moths, and next year I need to like put out one of those hormone traps for the codling moths earlier on, because we've been here for like, this is our 4th year and we haven't gotten a single peach off of this like very mature peach tree that we have. So it's not really great. It'd be nice if we could actually have some peaches. So yeah, for now we just go to a local farm and pick peaches, and I don't think I need to make peach jam this year, but I'll probably freeze some of the peaches. It's nice to take time in the summer to source things that we can't or don't grow ourselves, even if it means, you know, like taking time out of our weekend to visit a farm and spend a few hours picking stuff ourselves. I think it's very gratifying to be able to support our farms, and I think taking that extra time and effort makes it more special too. So that's mainly how we've been spending our summer and what we're going to be doing for the next few weeks. Let me know how your summers have been doing. It's been really weird, I think, for a lot of people. There's been so many like weather things, wildfires, and smoke. I just feel like it hasn't been very usual in a lot of ways. There's also been like droughts and flooding. So, you know, things are kind of different this year, but we're trying to make the best of it. And some things are doing better than others in the garden, so you have to take advantage of it for the years when things don't do as well. I'm just finishing up the last seed cell here. Hopefully this video wasn't too boring with you just like watching me talk, but maybe you're able to enjoy some coffee or sort through your seeds and plan what you're going to start for the fall. I just feel like I show seed starting so much in the spring that you don't really need like a close-up of me doing everything again. So, you know, just stick the seeds in, cover them with a little bit of soil, and hope that they grow. So I'm going to bring this tray inside and I'll give you an update on all the other things that I have inside that are already growing. Alright, so my new tray of seedlings is now inside, and the lights will stay off until things start germinating in here. And on the bottom shelf I have some things going on that have already started growing. Normally the lights are on, but I just turned it off for now so that it's easier to see. So let's see, in this first tray, it is almost all brassicas. These two here are some Brussels sprout plants. Then I have some red cabbage here. I have a few cells of broccoli and one section of white kohlrabi, and then cauliflower up here. And then I also have some golden and red beets. So most of these were started on July 8th, except for the Brussels sprouts. I think those were started earlier in July. Then in my other tray, these back two cell packs are for my Canterbury bells, which have germinated now, and those are for overwintering for blooming next spring. I also have some 1000 head kale here, and then the rest of these I'm actually doing an experiment and trying to plant a batch of tomatoes for the late summer and going into the fall, because I noticed that some of my tomatoes were already dying out from diseases, and I wanted to see if I would be able to grow a second round of tomatoes. So I tried to stick to the ones that are a little bit earlier to mature. So I've got Super Sweet 100, Purple Russian, Paul Robeson, and I also started some tomatillos because all my tomatillos, they had either died or were getting eaten up by bugs. So I didn't get any tomatillos yet this year. So we'll see if I have enough time for those. And then I have some Roma tomatoes as well. So yeah, I've never done a second round of tomatoes before in the summer. I know it's possible where we live, but I just don't know that I started these ones in time. Those I believe I also started on July 8th, so we'll see how they do and if they grow quickly enough. I also have another experiment with tomatoes, and this plant here, it's actually 2 plants, and what I did was I actually took some suckers of existing plants that I had out in the garden. So I just snipped these off of 2 of my determinate tomatoes, and I basically just cloned the plants by sticking the stems into some soil. Tomatoes do root really easily along the stem, so I didn't put any rooting hormone or anything on them. I just stuck them into the soil and watered them. And I can see now that there are roots forming from those stems, and they didn't have any roots on them before, so that's pretty cool. So I think this approach, you can get like a second round of tomatoes much earlier than if you just like started a whole new batch of seeds. And obviously you're starting off with a plant that is a little bit bigger already. So I think I will probably stick these out into the garden pretty soon, since they are a good size and they do have roots. I'm just waiting for some space to open up in the garden. And yeah, I think I'll be doing this more in the future. The only thing is you want to make sure you take cuttings from like a healthy plant, because if it already has disease and it's dying back, the cloned plant will probably also have disease. And this is also a great thing to do for if you have hybrid tomatoes where the seeds are really expensive, because I definitely like to grow a lot of those tomatoes and the seeds can get expensive. But if you can clone the plants by just taking out some of these suckers, it will be much more cost effective. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never done that before. I'm excited to put those out soon and see how they do. But that's everything that I have going on here in the seed starting station. And I've got all the additions that I just seeded today. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.